Hello and welcome to Meet the Press. Chris Wallace is off today. I'm Andrea Mitchell. The president has given his explanation of the Iran-Contra affair, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. Will his speech restore the credibility of U.S. foreign policy at home and abroad? Well, joining me today are David Broder of The Washington Post and Elizabeth Drew of The New Yorker. Let's begin with Mr. Carlucci, who joins us today from the California White House. Dr. Hammer, you're very confident about shale and about not having disastrous environmental problems with it. The Rand Corporation disagrees with you. The Harvard Business School disagrees. The Council on Environmental Quality, the Senate Budget Subcommittee. Why should we believe Occidental Petroleum on this?
Well, the answer is the proof of the pudding is the eating.
Well, Mr. Prime Minister, how do you counteract the impression, widespread in Canada, that you've been too accommodating to the United States and to President Reagan? For instance, why on Acid Rain did you say that his recent restatement of a year-old commitment to simply have demonstration projects, not emission controls, was a significant step forward?
It wasn't a restatement. It was an undertaking to go to Congress to get $2.5 billion for this project. That, to me, is progress. When you consider that my predecessor government walked away from the table in 1982 because absolutely nothing had been accomplished. We have accomplished, with the Reagan administration, matters of substance. Now, I call upon Congress, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the administration to take it that one essential step further in the area of acid rain, because Congress has a leadership responsibility here as well.
But
what is required?
The president has made it clear that he is so much against emission controls that even if Congress were to try to go down that road, he thinks it's a waste of money, that more research is needed. Do you really think more research is needed?
Well, more research can't do any harm, but what is required is a treaty between Canada and the United States to provide for a specified time frames during which there shall be reductions in these emissions that are killing our lakes and streams.
Senator Simpson, you've said you've got information. If you've got information, you really owe it to Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas to produce it right now.
Well, I will. If she comes back, I'll ask her these things. These people may be subpoenaed. This list may get longer on through the night.
But
that's
you've
what
raised
people
this
are asking.
now at the hearings, and you've raised it just now on national television.
Look,
isn't this McCarthyism of the worst order?
Well, not in my mind. McCarthyism in the worst order is to have someone gather up everything on a man for 105 days that had nothing to do with his ability to serve on the United States Supreme Court. Your people have done a magnificent job of that, going into his garage to see what the titles of his books are.
Not now my people, Senator Simpson.
Well,
Mr. Ambassador, what is the status of the Constitution? You are facing a deadline of tomorrow. One of our guests to follow you, Senator Joe Biden, has said at your confirmation hearing that if you meet this deadline of August 15th, he will put you up for the Nobel Peace Prize. Are you going to deserve that prize?
Well, of course, the decision with regard to the Constitution is made by the Iraqis, but given what you've said, reminding me of that, I will work as hard as I can to see if I can encourage the Iraqis to produce that draft tomorrow.
I think there will be a lot of change simply because of the way the Trump White House broke lots of norms that went well beyond policy. So these are not issues that will be determined by the balance of power in the Senate even. These are issues that are determined by the affect, the way a president handles the White House, the way he communicates to the American people, the way he treats people, the empathy, the care. Certainly the most important issue, I think, is the way he handles the pandemic. And I think that was the defining issue of the campaign, in fact, because if Joe Biden had not cared about masks and about science and about people suffering and had big rallies and super spreaders, I'm not sure this election would have turned out this way. Yes, he was hurt by doing a virtual campaign and not having rallies. That, along the margins, was very important. But he represented a difference to suburban women and to others who cared about the bullying noises and the communication, which Peggy Noonan, of course, knows better about than anyone else as the speechwriter that she was for the most impressive president we've had as a communicator. So I think a lot will change in ethics and in care of people and empathy.
Because if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.